Well, hello there. It is your mom of 3 in NYC, and I am back with another video. Yeah. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. My name is Chanita. I am the mother of 3 marvelous kids living in the heart of New York City. I would love to adopt you into my YouTube family, my tribe. All you have to do is one thing. It's so easy. SUBSCRIBE, SUBSCRIBE. Smash that subscribe button below. And if you are already subscribed, thank you for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please do make sure that your post notifications are turned on so that you never, ever miss a video. This video, my friends, is a review of Married at First Sight UK edition, season 7, episode 28. Woo! We're getting to the end, you guys. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, if you remember, episode 27 ended with the vow renewal ceremony of Sophie and Johnathan. And Sophie declared that she wanted to stay. She renewed the vows with Johnathan. So there was a cliffhanger, right? We didn't know what Johnathan was going to say. And I just have to ask you guys, why are his eyes so dilated in this episode? Like, why? And he just looks so... When I looked at Johnathan, his body language, he looked pained. Like he just was lost. So... after Sophie said her vows, and maybe it was because they were so thoughtful and kind and elaborate, but when he first said this, I thought I misheard him, so I rewound the episode, but he actually said, "I feel bad now." And initially I was like, oh, is he saying that because he's gonna leave? But after his vows, I'll go over my notes. So he said that early on in their relationship, because they didn't have the passion that he usually has in his romantic relationships, the energy, the passion, that doubt set in. He said that even though they have the same morals and values, they do have different outlooks on life. But he said we have a great foundation. And in the end, Johnathan chose to stay. So we're 3 out of 3, you guys. So last episode, Jenna and Zoe at the vow renewal ceremonies, they both decided to stay. And then April and George at their vow renewal ceremony, they decided to stay. So it was 2 out of 2. Now we're 3 out of 3. And I have in my notes, they really do look happy. The cave was a little bit weird as a location, but they honestly, both Sophie and Johnathan look happy. Forget, Whitney was married to Duca and Matt was married to Gemma. They both left their, not relationships, those were marriages. Don't forget, they were married to other people. And during the couples retreat, they had a connection and now they're together. But they never said marriage vows to each other, but to other people. One of the biggest differences between Married at First Sight UK edition and US edition. In the US edition, after the marriage, the reception, the honeymoon, they do move in together, but then they go back to their regular lives. Like if they work their jobs, if they go to school, they go back to school. Whereas the UK, the entire experiment, they're with each other 24/7. So the entire 8 weeks, they're in the apartment with each other. Whitney meets with her BFF Allie for advice. So remember, after the 8 weeks, it's only been 2 or 3 weeks for Whitney and Matt because initially they were married to other people. They pack up their apartment and they go back to their homes for 1 week so that they can reflect back on their time with their partners and if they want to stay in the marriage or leave the marriage. During that week, Whitney meets with her best friend Allie for advice. Whitney is from St. Albans. Whitney tells Allie that Matt lives 3 hours away and a long distance relationship will take a lot of work. Allie is worried that things are happening fast. Whitney is worried that she will shut down. Whitney has never been, they call it a proper relationship, a long relationship. And that worries Matt. So you see Matt at his home. Matt is worried that they will miss the bubble, the safety bubble of the experiment. We then go to Chanita. This is during her week of reflection. We'll call it the week of reflection. So Chanita meets with like her BFF for life since they were 3 years old, Vanessa. And Chanita confides in Vanessa that she really has missed Jordan's company. So we now have it's not a vow renewal. We have the commitment ceremony. It's not even a marriage. They're not even getting married, right? It's just a commitment ceremony for Matt and Whitney. The location is gorgeous. It's in a garden. Matt needs to realize that he's a bodybuilder and his shirts need to go up a size. No shade. And Whitney, who usually looks good, it was like a negligee. Her dress, the white, was like a negligee. It was like a nightgown. It was not like a dress. But they both seemed super excited to see each other. She asked, did you miss me? Of course I missed you. And they exchanged the vows. And Whitney says that, yes, she wants to stay in the relationship. And then Matt says that he also wants to stay in the relationship. Jenna and Zoe, April and George, last episode, we now have Sophie and Johnathan. And it's 4 for 4. And we have Whitney and Matt. So the last couple to have their vow renewal ceremony, Chanita and Jordan. And during the week of reflection, Jordan talks to his mother. And like I mentioned, Chanita talks to her BFF, Vanessa. On the day of the vow renewal ceremony, Jordan is standing there. It's a really I forgot the name of the outside structure. I'll try to remember. It's like a circular structure that's in a garden. He's standing there and she looks gorgeous. Chanita, 10 out of 10. Looks amazing. Her makeup is on point. Her hair is gorgeous. The dress fit her, chef's kiss, perfectly. And so he couldn't even stop himself. Oh, he's like, you look so beautiful. They hug, they kiss. It's a cute little moment of them being reunited. And Chanita goes first. And she just tells Jordan like how much she's really enjoyed getting to know him, how she loves the quiet moments of cuddles they shared together. He's everything she wanted. And she wants to stay in the marriage. And then Jordan said that, they've had their moments. It's been up and down roller coaster, but they've, done this together. They've got a great foundation. He's got a lot of love and respect for her. And so he too chooses to stay in the relationship. Yeah, there are 5 couples. I'm correct. So last episode, Jenna and Zoe said yes. April and George said yes. This episode, Whitney and Matt both said yes. Chanita and Jordan both said yes. And Sophie and Johnathan both said yes. So we are 5 for 5 of the couples that remained. Remember, we started with 10 couples. Throughout the experiment, we lost 5 of them. The 5 that made it to the final vow renewal ceremony all said yes. So we're 5 for 5 for the final 5 couples. What a tongue twister. We are 5 for 5 for the final 5 couples. They all, even though there was a lot of distance between actually each and every one. Think about it. Jenna and Zoe lived hours apart. Stafford and Blackpool are, I remember correctly. April and George. April lives in London. George lives in the country, hours apart. Sophie and Johnathan, hours apart. Matt and Whitney, 3 hours apart. And that's another difference that I wanted to point out. In the US version, they actually do each season by each city. So for example, last season 16 was in Nashville, Tennessee. So all of the singles who then got married at first sight were all Nashville, Tennessee. So at the most, you would have lived an hour away, but most of them lived in the city proper, the middle and downtown Nashville. So and even two of them had lived in the same apartment building, which was crazy. But that's all to say is that the distance was not a factor because they're all from the same city. Whereas the UK, it's the UK. You can be hours and hours away from each other. And distance does play a role in the success of a relationship. It makes it a long distance relationship. So that is where this episode ended. The next episode will be a reunion / the final dinner party. As always, please leave any comments down below. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now, tribe.